Good morning, folks, and happy Saturday. Hope everybody's having themselves a good weekend so far. Hope everybody's staying cool so far this weekend. It's going to be day 72 down here working down at the ranch, and it has been a hot one the last week. And let me tell you, I decided I wasn't going to go outside and play around in that. I am no longer a spring chicken, that's for sure. But I decided to come down today. I think it's only supposed to get up to 94. We'll see. It's a little bit windy. It's a little bit shaded in here. So I decided what I'm gonna do is come in and, everybody's favorite. I'm gonna do some weed eating down in here and try to get this place cleaned up just a little bit. If all goes to plan, whoop, I about fell in a hole. That wasn't part of the plan. I'm gonna try to meet up with the well guy this week, or this next week, and we're gonna try to start getting a well put in down here so that I'll have some water. Then I'll have water and power, and that'll be a big plus. But he's thinking he's gonna be able to put the well somewhere right in this area over here on the other side of these trees. So basically from there, I've got to wait for him to make sure that we found some water, get the well up and running, and then I got to figure out exactly where the septic tank is going to be, which we think is going to be over in that direction. So with all that being said, I've talked to a guy who's going to come in, and when we know for sure, he's going to help me get that little area cleared out in a short amount of time. So we're going to try to make some serious moves over these next couple of weeks down here. We'll see how that all goes. It has been dry down here. Anyway, with all that being said, I'm going to probably be bouncing around doing a few things down here today. Nothing really major. Just trying to get this little area cleaned up, and I may end up moving some dirt because the same guy that's going to clear out some stuff up here, he's going to get rid of a couple of these. Probably can't see them here, but I've got a couple of these pine trees that are leaning really bad from a storm a few years ago. So I'm wanting to kind of get those out of the way so I don't have to worry about those coming down on me at some point in time. But day 72, we're going to get a little bit done. Not sure how much. If it stays breezy, it's not going to be near as bad, but it has been dry and hot, and I've been hiding inside. I'm not going to lie about it. Day 72, here we go. Ah, yes, I missed the old Husqvarna. That old weed eater there has gotten me through a lot of days where I needed to get some weed eating done. I wanted to use my brush cutter down here with the tractor, but there are a lot of tree stumps and roots hanging out of the ground. So the right tool for this job is the old Husqvarna. But I think disclaimer number one, folks, is going to be the temperature today. It was a little bit breezy, but folks, it was hot. I don't think I realized exactly how hot it was until we get a little later in the day, and I was pretty much zapped from the sun. That's for sure. I would like to say thank you to all my new subscribers and all the folks that have been following me here on this journey. I think that's going to lead us to disclaimer number 2. Believe it or not, folks, I am not a full-time YouTube guy. I kind of do this as a hobby. This is actually more of a video diary of the progress that I'm making down here on my land that I bought a little over a year ago. I do have a full-time job that keeps me pretty busy most of the week, sometimes 7 days a week. So I try to get down here to the ranch, and we'll say that's another disclaimer. This is not actually a ranch yet. It's really not much of anything but some land that I'm trying to clean up and turn into a home eventually so that I don't have to drive back and forth all the time down here. Nope, I am just a fella who found some land and decided I was ready to get a little bit farther outside the old city limits, if you know what I mean.
So, yep, I pretty much come out here, fumble around a little bit every now and then, try to figure out what to do and what works and what not to do. And I mean, unfortunately, I'm still using the weed eater, but there was definitely a time and place when I pretty much had a wheelbarrow, a sawzall, some clippers, a rake, and a couple of shovels. I think the next disclaimer is that if you're hoping that you're going to watch my channel and learn a whole bunch of stuff, that's probably not going to happen. I'm probably not going to cut down a bunch of trees and build a log cabin overnight. Not yet anyways, but yeah, I'm kind of pretty much just out here faking it till I make it, folks. You know what I mean? Truth of the matter is, there's a lot of days that I come down here that I don't even have a game plan. I just kind of show up and look around and kind of figure out what it is I want to do and if I want to do it. And sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. That's the truth. But even those boring days, I want to go ahead and document. That way, some point in time, it fits into the big puzzle. And hopefully, some point in time, I'll have a little home down here that I can go sit inside, and maybe it'll be a rainy day and I can watch the Rated R Ranch from day one all the way to wherever we're at that point in time. I do know this, my videos help me fall asleep at night. If I need to get myself to sleep, I put on a couple of these videos and I'm out before you know it.
Well, I just stepped straight down into that thing. Luckily, no bodily harm. It it kind of scared me for a second though. But anyway, I don't know about you folks. I'm about done running the weed eater. I still got to get up on this side of the hill, but I think I can get some of that with the brush mower there on the tractor. But I think that's what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to get down in this little gully here with the tractor and see if I can get this kind of cleaned up and maybe even smoothed out a little bit and get it back to scratch, because it was underwater for quite some time. I've got a guy that's coming into this area down here. He's going to get rid of some of these trees. I got a few that are leaning. I got about 4 that are leaning over from according to the neighbor, a tornado that came through here a couple years ago. But I got about 4 leaners I need to get rid of, and then a couple of these other bigger trees, and I'm going to kind of open up the center of this a little bit. So it's about 3 o'clock. Been down here a couple hours. We're gonna get a few more things done, and then I'm probably gonna roll on out of here. Here we go.
So there where I said I'm going to do a few more things and get out of here. I think it was at this point in time I was realizing that the sun had zapped me pretty good. I think it was also when I realized that the temperature gauge on the old cell phone there was telling me it was 97, and I didn't think it was going to get that hot. But the other problem that I was having is how dry it's been. And as you can see down there, there's a whole bunch of dust flying up in the air, and I wasn't really having a whole lot of fun with that. But this brush cutter didn't quite do exactly what I was hoping it would do. It seemed like there was a lot of grooves and ruts in that little path right there, so it wasn't quite cutting it near as good as I was hoping it was going to. I was going to grab the weed eater and come back down here and try to fix it up, but then I decided that grabbing the trail cam sounded like a whole lot more fun than doing that.
Well, folks, I'm not gonna lie. After about 3 hours of weed eating, I am zapped. It was a pretty nice day today, really. It didn't get over 100. It was pretty breezy, still a little bit breezy. But yeah, I'm a little tired from the weed eating. So we haven't grabbed the trail cams in quite some time. I have a feeling that I'm gonna be on a lot of them. But let's go ahead and check the trail cams and see if we got any critters that came in. Here I got this one set up in a different position than where it's usually been, so we'll see if anything's come in through there. All right. Well, that one there might have the best chance of picking up some actual wildlife. I haven't really been out working in front of that camera, so we'll see what happens. But folks, look, I appreciate y'all following along with me. This This is like my least favorite part of the summer, where it's like just so hot you can't hardly do anything. But we definitely got some big plans for the next couple of weeks, if everything goes according to plan, which if you've been following along long enough, you know that normally things don't go according to plan. But if they do, we're just a little ways away from possibly me being able to stay down here and have some water and some power, and probably do a couple more camping out videos or staying overnight videos. We'll see what happens. But I was watching video 14, day number 14, a couple weeks ago, and like I put a camera on this tree, and while I was watching the video I was really confused on where I was at, because all of this stuff was obviously a lot thicker than what it is now. But definitely gotten a lot of work down here. Got a lot of work down here, so that's pretty exciting. And I think we're getting ready to maybe start getting into the cooler months here before too awful long. That'll be a lot more helpful. All right, let's see what this one got. All right, and I've got about 3 of these pretty close together, so it's I'll eventually get them spaced back out into some different areas once all this work gets done. But this right here, of course, this was one of the very first cameras I set up, was on this tree right here. And we've almost captured something. I can only think of maybe 2, possibly 3 times. We haven't ever caught anything on this one. Here we go.
Well, these 2 show up a couple of times. I'm pretty sure it's my neighbor's dogs. I'm not 100% positive, but they do have a couple collars on them, and they end up showing up 2 or 3 times on the same night. So
all right, we'll grab this one. I'm kind of hopeful this one has something in it, because there are always a whole bunch of tracks. Almost every time I've come through here, there's definitely been some tracks. So we'll see if this got anything. And then I gotta move this post because they're gonna be doing some work back here. This is where they're gonna bring all the trees, and I'm basically just gonna use this as a big burn off area for right now. So I'll tell you what, having 7 cameras set up out here is a little bit of a task. I haven't checked them, and I actually had them taken down for a while, but that's all good. Oh, there's another little spider web. Garden spiders are everywhere right now. About ran into 3 or 4 of them weed eating. That's a good size trench right there too. It is a little bit of a mess, folks. All right, we got this one back here. See if we picked up anything on this.
yeah, so here these 2 are again, but folks, things get a little interesting here in just a second. If I had to guess, I would say maybe a mangy coyote, perhaps. This was the very next night, and this was actually the night that my cousin and I came down and were having burgers and burning off that fire over there. I didn't see it again after that, but hopefully everything's all right. Probably just a mangy coyote. We did capture a couple deer going down this same trail here, so looks like there's a pretty active trail right back there.
Yeah, I forgot I don't have a card for that one for some reason. I knew I saw one in my drawer that had a number on it, and I thought, well, maybe that was an extra. Apparently it needed to go into my bag there. But I got 2 more of these to check, folks, so I'm gonna grab those. I'll show you if we caught anything. I'm wondering if these deer come back to this deer feeder and got them some of that corn. Seems like there was still a little bit in there. Guess we'll find out here in just a second.
7:10:26, folks, was possibly the most exciting night out at the ranch in a very long time. If you can notice, this deer's kind of creeping in, almost like it hears something. I will have to double check and make sure that the audio is set on this trail camera here because I wasn't able to hear anything. But as you can see, this deer is definitely hearing something. He keeps checking it out. I noticed this deer also has some unusual marks on its side there. I'm not sure exactly what that is. It does get a little closer to the camera at one point. I can't tell if it's scars or what's going on. And as you can see again, he's on point. He's definitely hearing something rustling around over there in those bushes. And folks, you might not be that surprised at who ends up showing up. You can barely see it to the right, but that deer took off running. And then, of course, here comes our greedy little friend, the raccoon, who decides that he's going to run the deer off so that he can get some of that corn. I'm not exactly sure what happened there for about 20 minutes, but eventually the deer comes back. It's the same one with the markings on the side. Decides he's going to go ahead and see if that raccoon left him any corn in that feeder. And the old greedy raccoon must have heard the deer getting into the feeder and said, "No, no, no, you can't have all that corn. That corn belongs to me." And of course, this deer is deciding, you know what? I'm standing right here, buddy. And for some reason, we miss about 4 minutes of whatever live action was going on here. The deer's kind of posted up on the camera. The raccoon is sneaking his way back over to the feeder, and the deer's like, "Hey, wait a minute, buddy." And it looks like they've come to some sort of resolution that they can both get in here and eat some of this corn, but then he realizes the raccoon's being greedy again. He kind of moves in and he gives him a real quick stomp. But a minute later, it seems like they got it worked out again. They're both going ahead and eating on some of this corn that I didn't even realize was in the feeder. But the next night, folks, is 7/11/26. So we see our two friends again. Well, we kind of see them. It's pretty foggy on 7/11, at least back here by this camera. But anyway, there's those two dogs again. So yeah, 7/10/26, a pretty exciting night out here by the deer feeder. But then it's pretty much back to the normal two deer that we usually see back here kind of hanging out. I don't know why the one's all froze up there, but other than that, that was pretty much the last things that we caught on the trail cameras back here by the old deer feeder. But it is good to see that there is still some wildlife running around back there. We didn't have too much on the other cameras.
All right, so there's the last one, number 7.
Not too much to write home about on camera 7. Although this is that same deer, as you can see those markings on the side there. Again, not exactly sure what that is. Scarring of some sort, and maybe got beat up by another deer, maybe a raccoon. I don't know.
See if we got anything to wander down through here. I feel like it's been forever ago since we mowed this little spot right here. But I could definitely use to come in, and I may try this with my claw tomorrow to get a hold of a couple of these trees that are laying down in here and get them moved over into a pile somewhere and get those out of the way. I got to get some of that dirt moved over there for when the guy comes in to clean up that area. So I'll probably be back down tomorrow. I feel like I'm a little bit more wore out than I realized, so we'll see. But it's been a minute since I've been hiding from the sun the best I could, the best of my ability. I've been hiding from the sun, so hopefully it'll be another nice day tomorrow. I can get down here and get some more work done. But that's gonna be it. Hopefully we got something on the game trail cams. Hopefully we got something on the trail cams, because other than that, it was a pretty boring video. Day 72. We'll see if we can make things a little more exciting on day 73. Hope y'all have a great weekend. I appreciate you. We'll catch you next time.